Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sengel, and I'm your money coach, helping you live your fully funded life, being able to do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of its cost or the income it might generate for you. This week, this Monday, I don't know where you find yourself. Maybe you're on that treadmill and you're running like Forrest Gump. Maybe you're out driving and doing errands. Wherever you find yourself, hey, I'm so grateful you've taken some time to dial into the podcast. That's an old-fashioned term, dialing in, and helping take your finances to another level. Hey, this week, we're talking about insurance. And insurance is a very important topic, one that we don't think about a lot, wildly important. And it's one that is very personal. And it helps us recognize that there is a fundamental truth in our life, and that is that we are all mortal beings. That's right, friends. Today, on this Monday Money Tip Podcast, we're going to talk about life insurance. Life insurance. Life insurance is one of those bets that we don't want to ever claim. We don't want to die. It's not in us. We like to live. We enjoy life. We enjoy being with our friends and our family. But the fact is that there is a day, an appointed time for all of us to pass on. This has become even more truthful in my life recently as my wife lost her stepfather, the one that was in her daily life a lot. In fact, he lived just 5 or 6 minutes away from us. And for the last 10 years, we've enjoyed family meals together 4 or 5 times a week. And we lost him after a long battle with kidney failure and going through dialysis. We lost him. And life insurance became a reality. And we've had to fill out some claims. And he had a couple of very small policies. One of the policies was a whole life policy that his father purchased for him when he was a child. And it basically covers the cost of his funeral expenses. But it's a wonderful gift. And life insurance matters a lot. Now, of course, all of his children were out of the house. They were all independent citizens, all of us in our 40s out here living life. But we miss him greatly. But I was reminded again about the importance of life insurance. And I wanted to bring it to each of you today on the podcast because I've done financial coaching for individuals who have lost their spouse. And I've done it in the case where their spouse had life insurance. And I've done it in the case where their spouse had no life insurance. I've sat with a bride who lost her husband and they had 3 little kids still in the house. And he had life insurance. And that life insurance was such a gift and a long-lasting legacy of his life because he had taken the time to think through this, never knowing or believing or wanting to believe that it would ever be needed while his kids were still in the house. And he went on to glory, but this life insurance has been a blessing to his family for more than a decade. I have also sat with individuals who've lost their spouse and they had no life insurance. They lost their house. They lost everything they owned. In fact, she had recently sold her last possession in life, and it was the bed that she and her husband had purchased as a wedding gift to each other. And I looked utter poverty into the eyes. Here's my question, friend. Do you have life insurance? Does your spouse, if you're married, have life insurance? You see, there may be a day where you are what we would call self-insured. All of your kids are out of the house. They're independent citizens. You have no major debt obligations. You have built wealth. You've lived a fully funded life. Life insurance may or may not be something you need anymore. But let me tell you, if you have people that are dependent upon you for income, they are dependent upon the work you do, and it would cost money to pay for what you do, then you need life insurance. And so me and my bride, we have life insurance. And so let me talk about some things that should be in your thought, in that cerebellum up here in this gray matter, helping you make wise decisions when it comes to life insurance. It should come as no surprise if you've heard us talk much that we recommend starting out with term life insurance. Let me explain what level term life insurance means. Term life insurance means it exists for a specific defined time period or term. 10-year term life insurance, 20-year term life insurance, 30-year term life insurance. The word level means that the premium that you pay is the same for every one of those years of that term. I have 30-year level term life insurance. I acquired it nearly 15 years ago, and I acquired it before my last two children were born. However, my youngest should be somewhere around 23, 24. And, I'm living and operating on this verse in the Bible, Proverbs 22:6, train your child in the way they should go. And so hopefully she has went and she has moved into society as an independent, free-thinking, fired-up young little lady. And so here's the deal. That 30-year life insurance covers me all the way to age 65. We have the same for my bride. So term life insurance. I recommend 20 to 30-year level term life insurance for those that have people dependent upon them for income. And I want to kind of share that thinking I just had that said, I'm thinking, what is the age of my youngest child, my youngest dependent, when that insurance expires? Now, I'm hoping to win this bet that I'm still around and kicking above ground, right, before this insurance expires. And so if it expires, which I hope happens, then she'll be an independent citizen. She'll be out of the house, and we may be self-insured. Now, over the next 10, 15 years, I may think about it and add another 10-year policy along the way. But 20 to 30-year level term life insurance is appropriate, especially if you have minor children in the household right now. Now, the next question is, how much coverage should you have? Well, my recommendation is 10 times your annual take-home pay. This is after taxes. So the reason for that is an amount that would allow your surviving spouse, if you're married, or the caregiver for your children, to be able to not have to work to produce income. They could choose to continue working if they choose to, but they don't have to, and they could provide care for those children and take care of financial obligations to and through those children moving into adulthood. So if you think about your annual take-home pay, maybe you have $60,000 annual salary, but you take home $45,000 after taxes, just add a zero to that number. That would be $450,000 of coverage, okay? If you have what we call a domestic engineer, which is a person who's still, they work a lot, they just don't produce an income, the stay-at-home parent, we recommend at least $300,000 of level term life insurance. Okay. Why? Because you have to pay a lot to replace the activities that they do as an Uber driver, basically driving kids here and there and everywhere, right? Running errands, buying groceries, maintaining a household, paying bills, maybe whatever that is, all the work that a stay-at-home parent does. And my bride does a lot as a stay-at-home mom. They say they've done the research. It would cost an average of like $100,000 to replace the work that stay-at-home parent does. So if you're a stay-at-home parent, that's your cue to go ask for a raise. So we can talk about whole life insurance in another episode of the podcast. But listen, you've listened about 9 minutes of the podcast so far. I want you to ask yourself this question. This is the call to action, if you will. Do you have appropriate amounts of life insurance? Do you know for certain of that fact? Okay, you're marinating on that? And if you do, how many more years exist on it? And is that okay? If you do not, what do you need to do? Well, you can go get online quotes of level term life insurance. You can go to our website. You can go to the link that's provided and look at life insurance quotes. You can get quotes online. And here's the deal. Term life insurance, any independent insurance agent can provide it. and it will be the exact same fee that is quoted online. You could choose to go through the one that's online or go to your local independent insurance agent and get it through them. Maybe you like that better. But I know when I applied for mine, I did so online. They sent a person with a scale and a needle to pull some blood from me. And I had my life insurance in force within just a few days. And so I encourage you, take the step you need to today. Hey, it's so cheap. It is so cheap relative to the risk to your family. If you should die prematurely, that income you produce ceases or the work you do ceases. Hey, this is a gift you give your family. I always finish with this with life insurance. I want you to be appropriately insured so that your family, is taken care of. But I don't want you to have so much that you have to sleep with one eye open. Hey, thanks so much for participating in the podcast today. If this has been a help to you, make sure you share it with others. More than anything, like it, subscribe it, share a comment about it. That helps the algorithms get this helpful information to others so that they can live fully funded lives. Hey, join me next Monday for another helpful tip to help you live the life you've always dreamed of. Have a great week, everybody.